folks, and welcome to another Saturday morning Samoflange. I am Matt, and we are continuing on with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more top fives. Maybe I'll only do 3. Maybe I'll only do 4. Maybe I'll have to dig around and do another one of these later on. Who knows? But I'm ready to go with another one, which I swear we've talked about this, but I could not find it. And if I'm repeating myself, if I've given a new top 5, that's fine. But I thought I'd done this one before. Again, it could be in there. I just don't know where it is. But it's top 5 candy bars. Yes, sir. We're going to talk about candy bars right now. Don't get candy bars that much. Out of all these, one of them I will pick up all the time, which is why it's number 1. And even on the ones I wrote, I've had to reconstruct those and bump one off, bump off my number 2 and add on my number 5, which is Snickers. Really like Snickers. Liked them more over the years. I like the different types. Snickers almond. I really liked when they had the salty Snickers and the spicy. They did spicy peanuts in the Snickers. That was fan-friggin-tastic. The super salty ones had some salt and caramel, and that was really good too. They don't make those anymore. I think they made 3 new types. Salty, spicy, and something else. And obviously the something else wasn't that good. Maybe it's coffee nut. I don't remember what it was. But anyway, I'll try any new type of Snickers they have, which there hasn't been much yet. That Snickers fudge was horrendous. And the Snickers Power Bar, get out of here. That's nothing. Snickers with extra nuts, okay, that's fine. I don't care. Regular Snickers, plain Jane's fine. I do like an almond Snicker too. That's nice. But plain Jane Snickers is bomb.com. Number 4, 100 grand. Love me 100 grand. My wife is a big 100 grand fan. 100 grand, no, I think Almond Joy would be her number 1. I think Almond Joy would be her number 1. I think she really likes Almond Joys. Even though I don't see her get that many. She does love Snickers. She does love 100 grand. Holy crow. Holy crow. We did candies. That's what it was with Ben. I should have looked up candies. It was top 5 candies. Maybe not candy bars. I can't remember. It was with Benjamin now. So let me speed through this just in case. Number 3 was a Twix bar. I think I have done this with Benjamin before. But anyway, I do love a Twix bar. I get a Twix bar every once in a while. Number 2 is a Heath. I'm just going to speed through these because these sound very familiar now. I think I did go over these with Benjamin. 2 is now a Heath. I love me a Heath bar. I don't buy them as much, but my wife usually picks one up for me every once in a while when she goes to the grocery store, every other month maybe, and that's good enough. I love me a Heath. She gives me the king size, so I have 2 of them. And the one I love the most is Zeros. I don't see them that much. If I do see one in the aisle that I'm checking out on, I will sometimes pick it up, put it in the bag, if I feel like a candy bar. I'm not always the guy that needs candy all the time. More of a soda guy. Zero, that's where I get my sugar kick now. But every once in a while, yeah, I do love me. I love me some ice cream every once in a while, a candy bar every once in a while. But try to stay away from it because I'm getting old and it's easy to put on weight, hard to take it off. All right, so I'm moving on because I do believe we did candy back in the day, not candy bar, but because I remember we talked about Reese's peanut butter cups because that was his favorite, and then we talked about the best type of peanut butter cup. Yes, now I recall that conversation. Moving on, chips, snacks. Snack bags. This one greatly changed from my list that I had. My number 1 is now my number 5, Funyuns. I still love a Funyun, but now that I've had Walmart made some, knockoff Funyuns. They are phenomenal. I love them. Maybe I can order them online through their website and have them shipped to me because you can't find them in stores anymore. Those are my ultimate favorites. Maybe if I was to re-rank it, I'd put that number 1. Walmart's onion ring chips. Funyuns are now, every time I eat a Funyun, I'm happy I have Funyuns every once in a while. When my wife gets the snack pack by variety when she has to buy snacks for the kids at school, no one eats the Funyuns, so she leaves them for me, so I get to have some Funyuns every once in a while. And they're good, but the whole time I'm thinking, man, they're not as good as that Walmart brand. My mom introduced me to that. She bought the Walmart brand. And I was eating them one day. I said, man, these are the best Funyuns in the world. I said, Mom, where'd you get these? What are they? Because they weren't as big as Funyuns. I said, what are these? And she showed me it's the Walmart bag. I said, shut up. So I remember whenever I would see them, which is very rarely, I would buy every bag they had. Those were so good. The onion powder flavor in there was just so good. But you can't find them that much anymore. So Funyuns, I still love them, but they rank way, way, way lower on this list. Number 4 is sour cream. I love sour cream and onion chips. Probably, oddly enough, Lay's. It's the only time I would pick a Lay's chip, I think. But the Lay's sour cream and onion, I think they're pretty much flavored pretty good there. And I don't get them that much because my old gaming group loved barbecue chips. So I didn't always have to, but I bought barbecue chips to, make them happy, be a good host. But I'm not a big barbecue fan. And I first I got sour cream and onion, but they don't like sour cream and onion. I was like, oh dang, I love it. I love sour cream and onion. But I don't order them. I don't get them that much. Now, a bag of chips, I should be honest with you guys, I rarely buy a bag. If you want to buy a bag of chips in this house, chips are the first thing to go. Chips are the first thing we're going to be out of. There are you buy chips one day, 4 bags, and in 2 days, those bags are gone. And you didn't have a single chip. My kids and my wife usually gets into them, and that bag's gone. That bag is gone. I bought sometimes I buy chips for game nights for the guys, and now I have to hide the chips. If I do not hide the chips, the missus gets them and eats them all in one sitting. So, and then shares them with the kids if there's any left. So the bag of chips, you don't buy a bag of chips unless you're going to eat it right then and there in my house. But sour cream and onion, my number 4. Number 3 is Gordettas. I don't get these very much unless I'm on the road. It's my snack food go-to. Sometimes, not every time, I'll get a bag of Gordettos. Usually now I'm just getting sugar-free energy drink. Now I really don't get a snack. But it used to be Gordettos. It used to be a big one. Now, if anyone has one, I'll always go for it because I think those things are good. Of course, the little bread bites are the best thing. Best thing about Gordettos. But and I remember the first time I tried it, I loved it. Now, I forgot about that. If I could put some homemade stuff in here, my mom's homemade Chex Mix, which we call nuts and bolts, is top tier, man. Top tier. She makes a big, big, big barrel every summer. I'm begging her to do 2 barrels of it this year. I don't know if she can, but I want her to. That barrel goes within the first couple of days. Big barrel of Chex Mix because it's so stinking good. And then my grandmother used to make these oyster chips. They were the oyster crackers, but she put sour cream and onion or something around, or ranch or something in it, and shook them all up, and they were dusted perfectly. And when I told her about them, she finally figured out what I was talking about and made some for me. Oh, they're so good. They have some dill in there and then I think my mom, she gave me the recipe to make some. I made some a long time ago. Really good. In fact, my sister-in-law makes these spicy, flavory crackers the same way. And boy, do I love her crackers. In fact, I need to ask her if she'll make me some of those cracker snacks. So homemade snacks, that would be a top 3 right there in that order. But they're made with pepper flakes and something. I don't remember, but those crackers were super good. My wife made one for me one time. Maybe I need to ask her to make those again because uber good chips. Okay, way off topic there. Let's see. Number 2 is cheddar sour cream. The Ruffles. I love those. Again, I can't really buy a bag because they will be gone in under an hour if they get to the house and everyone sees them. So, but if I'm going to a party and I want to get some chips that I want to, I will most likely pick up this bag and go to the party, give them the chips, and eat as many as I can, but leave the rest there because no use in taking them home. The bag will disappear after that. And then finally, number 1. Pringles. We've been getting Pringles at work. We've been taking turns buying a few cans, checking out a few flavors. The problem is, in the past couple of weeks, no one's been in the office, so I got to snack down on 3 cans of Pringles over that whole week. I went through half a can a day, I felt like. Half a can was already empty by the time the Mondays came around, so I did half a can every day there, and went through all 2.5 cans that way. But, oh man, once you pop, you can't stop. That's the rule, man. Those, even basic Pringle chips are good. But almost any flavor, I haven't tried every flavor they have, but any flavor just about I would go for, and I'd probably just eat the whole can if I could. Trying to be piggy when it comes to eating chips, but I would never in any lifetime buy Pringles chips here. Because, of course, they would just go. In 10 minutes, they'd be gone. So can't buy those. My wife buys the spicy ones that only she can eat. I mean, not the girls can eat. So that's an idea, but I don't want to eat just spicy chips all the time. I haven't had any of hers because those are her Pringles. But yeah, I would never dare buy Pringles because they would go fast, super fast. All right, so that's it for that one. Moving on. Oh my goodness, so many here to talk about. But the next two, oh man, that was a big topic. Why did I put that one on here? Maybe avoid that one for right now. See if I can get the other two and maybe do a podcast on the other one. That was a bigger topic than I thought. I don't know why I put it on here. Top 5 fruit. I forgot to do fruit when I was doing foods. Fruit was even on the list here. I missed it the first time. And I did have to change this up completely. Dropping a few fruits and adding a few more in there. In fact, my number 5 even surprised me when I thought about it because I didn't even have it on my original list, and it was plums. I do love me a good plum. We don't really get them that much, but when we do, and you get a good, and this is all depending on how the fruit tastes, but if you get a good one, a good plum is excellent. So I love me a plum. Number 4, and you can't usually go wrong with these, but you can sometimes, but if you get cherries, I love cherries. I get the fresh bag of cherries we don't get them that much anymore. And that's because I never asked my wife to get them. She gets grapes, bananas, apples, and oranges for the kids. Those are the 4 staples. Every once in a while, we get strawberries and blueberries for the kids too. It's funny because I like blueberry flavored stuff, but blueberries have to go with something else. Blueberry pie, a blueberry cobbler, but not just blueberries by themselves. Meh. It's kind of weird, but it is. And my son loves bananas. If he was to come here and give his top 5, if he could talk, it'd be number 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 would all be bananas. He loves bananas more than anything, but he'll eat most fruits. But cherries are pretty good, and we haven't had them in a while. Maybe ask my wife to pick up some cherries next time. I don't know. But a good cherry is awesome. A good strawberry is hard to find, but that's my number 3. There is a place here in town that makes their own strawberries. When they're in harvest time in March, April, whatever, they sell out. If you can get a little basket of those are the best ones. They're the most freshest. They're tasty. And a lot of the ones we get, of course, are Walmart or Sam's. And I'll be honest, every once in a while you may get a good bite of one, but most of them are just bland tasting strawberries. But if you get a really good strawberry, really fresh, juicy strawberry, those are delicious. And the strawberries that this guy sells are just phenomenal. I remember at the bank, he used to come in and take orders, and we'd clear them out, and that's when I ordered the most strawberries. But those strawberries were just so good and so perfect. So a good strawberry goes a long way. Number 2, pineapple. Pineapple is good almost anywhere as long as it's fresh. I will never eat canned. I mean, I say never, but I mean, if it's in a fruit salad or whatnot, it's possibly canned, and yes. But fresh pineapple is super good. You have to get it fresh, though. Get stale quick. Can't keep it in the fridge overnight. Kind of lose its value. We used to, when it was just me and my wife, and maybe when my girls were little, we used to buy fresh pineapple. And we'd cut it out and cut it up and eat as much as we could right there. I'd like it freezing cold. I put my pineapple in the refrigerator, take it out, cut it, chop it up, and we eat as much as we can of it. We do save the leftovers, but the leftovers aren't as good on day 2. But super fresh pineapple is the best. We have not gotten one of those in a long time just because it's not worth it. It's not worth buying pineapple for all the kids. But I do love me some pineapple. And if you have a sore throat, fresh pineapple has been the best cure for it for me. I very rarely get sore throats now, but back in the day, my mom said, hey, get a fresh pineapple, and it worked. And haven't done it with the kids yet because chopping it up does take a while and is kind of aggravating. But a fresh pineapple goes a long way. Number one, easy peasy for me right now is a peach. A good peach is fantastic. Yes, I love peach cobbler. I love peach cobbler. Best cobbler out there. The only cobbler out there you should have is peach cobbler. But I do love me a good peach. There is a place here that makes good peaches during the peach season. There's a peach festival. And the only reason I go is so we can get a basket of peaches. And the peaches there, if you get the right basket, are delish. and I could eat the whole basket in one day. I could eat the whole little basket, $10 about whatever it is, in one day because every peach is so fantastic. Those are the best peaches. Can you have bad peaches, tasteless peaches? Yes. For any fruit, it can be bad or tasteless or pointless. But so a lot of it has to be fresh, has to be specific from a specific vendor. And in this area, they make the best peaches. And love me a peach. So let me know, folks. Let me know in the comments. First comment was, I don't think you gave me the comment. Yeah, your favorite snack, chip snack, what is it? And then fruit. This is almost like food part 2 now. I should have combined this with the Little Debbie's from last week, done a food one. That'd have been fantastic. Way not to think ahead, Matt. All right, this other one I did on a live stream once, I remembered. And I wrote it down. I said, you know what? This would make a great Saturday morning Samoflange. And I remember when I wrote this topic down. But then I realized not many other people read Batman. So my top 5 Batman stories. Super excited about this one. I don't think much has changed on this one. I did go back and look at a few other stories here. And probably the only honorable mention I'm going to put on here is the Batman/Predator series. And the reason why is I have read Batman vs. Predator 2 and 3. I do not own them. I have 3 copies of Batman Predator 1 because my wife didn't know what 2 and 3 were. So she kept buying me 1 3 times over. 1 is great. But I remember loving 2 and 3. I've only read them once. It was a long time ago. And I guess I didn't buy these books. I thought I had, but I hadn't. But maybe I was reading some of Bruce's. I don't know. But that's a good series. But since I haven't read it in a while, I'll put it on honorable mentions. Out of these 4, there's only one of these I do not have in trade paperback. But I did read from Bruce's collection a while back. So my number 5 Batman story is No Man's Land. I love No Man's Land. Chuck Dixon hates No Man's Land. But I love it. It was after, I think, the earthquake that hit Gotham City. Gotham City becomes a disaster zone, and it's just abandoned. The whole city is abandoned. And so now the criminals have taken over now, and they've carved it up into like gang districts and everything. You know, it's anarchy rules in Gotham. They blew up all the bridges so that no one can get to the island, but now it's like a crime island. And Batman still, of course, resides in Gotham City, and he's still fighting crime with everyone else, you know, all his friends helping him. And every comic book would show you how the land would be carved up. So if Batman took out Two-Face, Two-Face's land would have been carved up between the Penguin, Joker, and maybe Clayface or Toyman or whoever, ventriloquist. And you kept seeing, and then there are some battles that took place. You never, like Black Mass would suddenly have a portion of Killer Croc's area. You know, so Gotham was slowly, it kept getting as the criminals took control of the land, the boundaries kept switching around every issue, which I thought was really interesting. And everyone had their own boundary lines, and Gotham residents still somewhat resided in there because they didn't leave in time. So there's still crime going on. There's still good people that Batman's saving, but he's just trying to restore order in an orderless place. I remember, I think Superman comes in for one issue too, disguises himself just to kind of see what life is like in Gotham. And Batman finds him and says, "Get out. Like, I don't need your help, Clark." I love it that he has this rivalry with Superman. Like, Superman could really help clean up the place, but it's Batman's responsibility. Batman does his own work. So it's just a fantastic story. Now, I will mention this. I did have to cut out every Justice League story. Even when Batman had a big role in it, I feel like those are Justice League stories. Could I do a top 5? Probably not. But there are a few Justice League stories I love because of Batman. But because it wasn't exclusive Batman, I left it off this list. So just to mention that. But number 5 is No Man's Land. Excellent. My number 4 has not changed, but it's Death in the Family. Death in the Family is it's the killing of Jason Todd. And there's another one that takes place shortly after this called Batman Year 3, which is another honorable mention I have. It's the introduction of Tim Drake as Robin, which I have. I have that original series run. And I have Death in the Family, too. Boy, do I love Death in the Family. I remember as a kid about the 800 number you could call in to save or kill Robin. I thought, well, they won't. because I wanted to do, or 1-900 number, and I wanted to call in, but my mom and dad would have killed me. And secondly, I thought they're never going to kill Robin, but they did. And I remember seeing the image in the newspaper that they'd killed Robin, and it just broke my heart. I thought it was Dick Grayson. I didn't know anything about Jason Todd back then because I wasn't keeping up with the comic book. I was just keeping up with the cartoons and stuff. So I didn't know it was Jason Todd. And I was just heartbroken because I thought they killed off Dick Grayson. Then later on, like maybe a year later or later on that year, I found it was Jason Todd. I said, who's that? They said, that's the new Robin. Dick Grayson is someone called Nightwing now, which I thought was super cool. And I followed some, I remember picking up some, what was it? Teen Titans comic books back in the day, just to find, some Nightwing stories. And that was when his costume was super dorky. And I remember not liking the powder blue collar on his costume, but the other one that was black with some yellow in it, yellow webbing, I thought that was super, and he had a ponytail. Oh man, I thought it was super cool back then. But Jason Todd, I eventually got, I think, the first printing of a trade paperback of them all. And do I have the individual issues? I may have the individual issues on that. I can't remember. Anyway, I've read the story several times before. It's really great. Where Robin dies is still chilling. The artwork's great on that. Where Bruce Wayne looks at Joker and there's these panels after panel of both of them just staring at each other. Joker with a big smile on his face. Bruce Wayne looking like he's going to murder him. And then Joker walks away laughing. Does he know that Bruce Wayne is Batman and he's laughing because he killed the Joker? Or is the Joker just crazy? You don't know. Superman, of course, comes to stop him from killing the Joker because he's about to kill the Joker. And Superman stops him from doing that. But it's very heavy. And, of course, Jason Todd, when I went back and bought a few Jason Todd episodes and realized I hate Jason Todd. No wonder fans voted him to die. He was just really annoying. He never listened to Batman. He was kind of rogue on his own, learned his lessons, was tough. They were trying to be someone different than Dick Grayson. I got it. But he was just annoying. And I remember the more issues I read about him, the more I was like, oh, yeah, this guy should have died. But still, and of course they brought him back to life because no one dies in comic books. But Death in the Family, still a good series. Number 3 would be my number 1 back in the day, but I love Nightfall. That was the first one I ever bought. How Bane broke him. I went back, collected a lot of these, read them, loved them. Well, I think we were collecting when they came out too. But the whole Nightfall, the Night's End and the Night Rise, or whatever, Nightfall or whatever the other ones were, where he takes off, where he's trying to heal, and then the next one where he takes out Jean-Luc or Jean Picard, I can't remember what his name was now, Azrael, who's Batman. Those are fine. I really don't like those as much. I did buy the trade paperbacks of those, but I was like, these aren't as good. But the Nightfall series is just so good. He's taking down criminal after criminal, getting tired. The artwork's really good, and I just remember going back and reading these as a kid and just loving them, and they're still good today. It's still a solid series. I love the series. I remember my dad was collecting with us back then for a very short time. He got into comic books when Superman died. And this is one of the ones he collected, and we all collected it with him. And Nightfall, excellent one. Number 2 is one that Chuck Dixon hates, but I do love it. It's Killing Joke. Everyone says, oh, that was what turned Batman dark, and that's what made every story after that dark. You had to go super dark. Killing Joke to me was brilliant when I read it. I think I thought I had a second printing, because when it came out, they kept doing reprints and reprints. I never could get it, but I ended up finding out it was a third printing. I thought it was a second print. I told my buddy it was a second printing because I remember when it came out, I wanted it, but it sold out. And the guy goes, don't worry, I'll order the second printing. But I guess I didn't get one. I guess I got a third printing later on. But still, I love the Killing Joke, man. The kind of origin of Joker. Of course, this is kind of the quote-unquote death of Batgirl. Batgirl then switches over to become Oracle. But this is how she got paralyzed. It is very dark, it is true, but the ending I thought was really neat. It starts by you looking at rain in a puddle, and it ends with you looking at rain in a puddle. But in this one, Joker tells Batman a joke, after everything's over, and starts laughing, because he's just tired, he's worn out, and Batman laughs with him. And I mean, yeah, kind of weird why Batman would laugh with him, but they're kind of showing that, they're cut from different rugs. They'll never be the same, but they have a little moment together. And I don't know. I can see why people hate this story. but I really thought it was good. I still love it. Killing Joke is one of my favorites there. Number 2. Number 1 is there's no doubt about this. Now, to be honest, I have not read a Batman story after this. And I've been told there's tons of good Batman stories, but I've not read them yet. But this one I love the most right now. I do have a trade paperback because I asked for it for Christmas a couple years ago, but Hush. Batman Hush is where it's at, man. I do love that. I do love all the twist and stuff. I'll go ahead and ruin it. There's a guy named Hush who was a friend of Bruce Wayne's, who's kind of the main villain, but we find out the real maestro behind it all is the Riddler. And it pissed me off because the Riddler was a joke. He's always a joke in the comic books. Like in Nightfall, I remember he was running away from Robin in the opening scene of one of the books. And he had his arm in a sling. I didn't know why, but it was a precursor. And I found out why they did it because they just did a Riddler story right before Nightfall. There's a Riddler story where he was hopped up on Venom, which is what Bane used. And I think I bought that that comic book arc because Riddler's all pumped up and juiced up. But then Batman eventually, I think, breaks his arm, And so Riddler's in a sling. His arm's in a sling in Nightfall. And he just got released. And since he was a bad guy they just did a story arc with, they just wrote him off real quick. But it was so stupid because he was running away from Robin. Not even Batman could come get him. And I think he ran into a light pole and knocked himself out. And I was so mad. And something similar happened in Hush. Again, he gets captured. It's very easy, and he's out of the picture immediately. And I was so mad because Riddler is my favorite Batman villain. I've always loved the Riddler. And I was like, man, they could really make him a good villain. And that's exactly what Jim Lee did. I think Jim Lee wrote it in, drew the art for it. I can't remember, but at the end of the book, we find out that Riddler was behind it all. So spoilers, I guess, on all these. Too late now. But Riddler was behind it all. And he had figured out the ultimate Riddler, who is Batman. And he found out that Batman was Bruce Wayne. And now he can tell the whole world. But then Batman threatens Riddler. Riddler was supposed to die. He was on death's door. He had a brain tumor, cancerous brain tumor that was going to kill him. But he's alive. How is he alive? Because he used one of Ra's al Ghul's last remaining Lazarus pits. And then Batman figures that out and says, okay, you tell my secret, I tell yours. And he knows Ra's al Ghul is everywhere and is so angry that someone uses Lazarus pit. When Batman tells him, because Batman's on good terms with Ra's al Ghul, then Joker's goose is cooked. And so Joker's like, oh no, I don't want to do that because I want to live. So now he has to keep the secret of Batman. Now, I don't know what they've done to undo that because I'm sure they have. You can't have Riddler knowing the secret this whole time, so maybe they hypnotize him, knocked his brain stupid, they eliminated that memory from his brain. I don't know how they resolved that, but I thought they left it on really cool terms. And I was so happy because Batman thinks he knows who it is and then finally figures it out. That's been the Riddler this whole time. Now, I wish it was more obvious to the reader. I wish there were more clues left in the comic book that would help the reader kind of decide. But I guess since comic book fans are obsessive, Jim Lee didn't want to do anything like that and just have you find out when Batman finds out. But still, I loved it. I still remember that scene where he's, in Arkham smiling going, so you finally figured it out. And I was like, oh, that's so good. Because I was like so mad again that Riddler was a joke in the series. And while I remember reading this when they were coming out because Bruce was getting them. And I just bummed comic books off of him. But was so happy on how it ended. So happy. That's when I knew. And when it came out available for trade that Christmas, I remember asking my parents, that's one thing I want. And they got that for me because that's easy to find, I guess, at Books A Million because they weren't going to shop on Amazon back then. But those are my top 5 Batman comic book stories. I know I've never read Court of Owls or there's some Joker ones that a lot of people tell me about. I've never read any of those. Yes, I would love to. I just don't know how. Is there a DC Unlimited app where you can read a bunch of comic books? Maybe I'll get on. Maybe I should look that up and subscribe to it for 1 month and catch up on all those excellent Batman stories. Maybe I need a list of those before I catch up on them. But I would like to read more Batman eventually. But those are the top 5 Batman I have right now. So let me know, what is your top 5 Batman? This next one I'm just going to hold on for a rainy day because I think it is a huge topic. And I'm at time anyway already, so I don't need it. So that's it, folks. Let me know. Best Batman comic book story if you have one. If not, that's fine. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next week on another Saturday morning Samoflange.